Yeah, in the fourth quarter of that game last night, I just started thinking, you know what? Even if it's an ugly win at this point, I'd rather see them win the game than lose. At this point, this is like midway through the fourth quarter, and I'm thinking, all right, it's ugly. There's a lot to dissect in this game. Obviously, during the week, they made the move of demoting, Desai and putting Patricia in as their new defensive coordinator. And okay, there's this talk, a couple players not going to play. Jalen Hurts has an illness, and I'm just going through all this, all this drama really throughout the weekend. I mean, there's never a week without drama here. Okay, this is just drama central. At least the Sixers don't have a lot of drama this season so far, but there's still season to go yet. But the just one thing after another, and it's like, how many times, man? It's almost like I don't even want to turn on sports talk radio right now because I'm afraid there's going to be something else that comes out. It's like bang, 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 bang. I'm like, man, we're just not meant to win this game, are we? I mean, I know we always have trouble with Seattle. For whatever reason, the Eagles always have trouble with Seattle. I said, and I forgot they did win a game there, I guess, in 2008. I don't even really remember the game, to be honest. Apparently, Harriman's had a touchdown in it. It's one of those games, I guess, that kind of got out of the memory bank, but it was the last time they won there or beat the Seahawks at all, which is crazy because I know Seattle had some pretty good years, but I mean, they're not like, it's not like you're playing, one of these other teams that are just always good, And I'm watching this fourth quarter unravel. And it was right around the time, right before, for whatever reason, on first down, they decided to go with a deep pass. You had a lead. All you have to do is just milk down the clock. Listen, there is such a thing as winning ugly. There is such a thing, all right? You don't have to play like you're playing Madden. And okay, now I'm going to go with this button. We're going to throw it deep. Yeah, we're going to throw it deep. You don't have to. It's first down. You're having a decent drive at that time. You're moving the football. You're using the clock. The running game is starting to get going. And all of a sudden, now we're going to throw a deep pass. So that was, I was already upset with the play call. When I see Jalen go back and throw this deep ball, I'm like, oh, why? And then I saw who the pass was intended for, and I went, oh, God. And as soon as the came out of my mouth, here comes the interception. For whatever reason, I mean, Quez Watkins, whenever the ball is thrown to him deep, something bad's going to happen every time. He's either going to drop it or there's going to be an interception because Quez does not fight for the football. He is incapable of fighting for the football. At least in that instance, you got to play the role as a cornerback or a safety. You got to take the ball away from the defender. You got to knock it away. You see, how many receivers do we see do this, right? A.J. Brown would do it. Devontae Smith would do it. But Quez, for whatever reason, I know he was being held. It is what it is. But still, you got to play role of defensive back in that situation and just go either go up for it like a NFL wide receiver and say, no, this is my ball, I'm taking it, or say, okay, well, I'm not going to get this, but neither are you, and knock the ball away. He never does this. Never. That's why there's so many interceptions when we throw, for whatever reason, that we put into play in the game plan to throw a deep pass to Quez Watkins because he's the fastest receiver on the team. He stinks. He stinks. We used to call these different receivers like Aguilar and Rieger and these guys stone hands. He's got stone hands. He's got stone body. He doesn't move. Like he doesn't do anything. He just watches the defender take the ball every time. You watch film of this guy. Whenever it goes deep and he's not going to get it, he never makes a play for the ball. He never tries to knock it away from the defender or anything. That's why there's so many interceptions when they throw when they go deep with him. And I don't understand the play call. Now look, they didn't lose the game because of that play. Seattle got the ball and I think they went 3 and out. But still, you had a decent drive going. There was about 7 minutes or so left in the game. Just go dink and dunk, go down the field, run the ball a little bit, use up clock. Even if you get a field goal there, you're up by a touchdown. But that one play, I'll tell you, that one play symbolizes the last 3 weeks. It symbolizes the last 3 weeks for this team. And just the ineptitude and failures of this team. They're just unwatchable at this point. They just are. They're unwatchable. This offense is not creative at all. We're going to try to feed the ball to A.J. Brown on just about every pass. Forget the fact there's other receivers on the team or there's other players who are wide open. We have a quarterback that's regressed back to what he was a few years ago. Not surveying the field, not seeing open receivers, trying to run for it every time. And just, not being careful with the football. Being reckless with the ball in close games, throwing interceptions, fumbling the ball. I mean, this is just, it's every week. And I'm trying to believe in Jalen. I really am. He's a likable guy. He's a rootable guy. Look, he went toe-to-toe with, even though Mahomes was gimpy in the Super Bowl last year, he went toe-to-toe with Mahomes. He had a great game. He did fumble, which was big. But he comes off of that season where he's a runner-up to the MVP, and now he goes backwards. And I get it. Listen, we can complain till we have, like, we're blue in the face about losing Steichen. Teams that go to the Super Bowl lose coordinators. Either if they win the Super Bowl or they lose the Super Bowl, they lose teams that go to conference title games lose coordinators. But you got to be able to replenish and replace those coordinators that you lose. And the Eagles just don't ever seem to be able to do that. They win a Super Bowl, they lose some guys, and they weren't able to replace them, and they went backwards after that. And they just got to the point where they had to get rid of the head coach. They got rid of the quarterback. We hit the reset button, and listen, to their credit, it seemed to work. Because then, obviously a few years later, they're back in another Super Bowl, right? And then what happens? Well, they lose coordinators. I mean, that's what's going to happen. And then they decide to go with Johnson. And I still say, I still remember that interview, and I know I mentioned this last week, and I think it was Sheil Kapadia on WIP that when they hired Desai to be the defensive coordinator, the one thing I'll never forget. What Sheil said was Desai's defense blitzed less than the Eagles last year. We all complained last year, right? Even though the Eagles set a franchise record in sacks, yeah, but it's still not a blitzing defense. They just, they get pressure up front, but they don't blitz enough. Boy, Gannon, he should have blitzed more in the Super Bowl. He had Mahomes hurt. If you just blitzed a little more, put some more pressure on, right? That was the big thing, right? And once he said that about Desai, I said, oh no. I said, this isn't going to work. This isn't going to work. Now, look, they were able to mask that a good portion of the season because the offense was looking pretty good, and they were putting up points. And they were able, even in ugly games, to come back and win. The Buffalo game, the Kansas City game, right? Some other games mixed in there. They were able to mask some of the problems that they were having. When you win, even if it's ugly, even if it is what it is, it's like the deodorant on some of the problems. But boy, when you lose, particularly the last couple weeks before this one, you get blown out. And they never recovered from that Niner game. And this is not what I thought I'd see with this team, because I really believe that they had veteran leaders, guys who have been here, guys who won a Super Bowl back in 2017. They're not going to let this team, fall apart after one game. And that's exactly what happened. It's kind of shocking to me, to be honest. I mean, that 49, look, they got punked in that game. That 49er team came in here and they pillaged the city, right? They did whatever they wanted to do in that game. They got their revenge, right? And you see, they kind of still ascended after that game, and the Eagles kind of went the other direction. You can't let one game in a regular season just destroy your season like this. Particularly if you have veteran leaders. You have players who have been to 2 Super Bowls. You can't let this happen. But that's exactly what it seems like it happened. That game and then the Dallas disaster the next week. And again, I went into both of those games. I didn't have a good feeling about either one of those games because, A, it was revenge for the Niners. They had more rest because they played the previous Thursday. The Eagles played Sunday. And then again, the Dallas week, it came off that Niner game. Dallas played Thursday night on Thanksgiving. They had extra rest. They were playing at home where they're, as we all see, they're much better at home, right, after Buffalo bitch slapped them around this week in Buffalo. So I didn't like the spots for both of those games. It's not that I don't believe in my team, but I've watched this game enough. I know that sometimes you're just going to have tough spots in the schedule where you're going to have to play at a higher level, and they didn't. And they got beat around in those games. But going into this Seattle game, I'm like, you know what? There's just something always about Seattle. They never beat Seattle. But I still had hope. I'm like, you know what? Okay, they made a move at the defensive coordinator. Maybe it's something they had to do. The offense, I'm still not on board with their coordinator, with Johnson and Sirianni calling plays. But maybe this is the shakeup they needed. Maybe they just needed to be shook a little bit, you know? And here we go. Maybe we get this win and get out of there and maybe start to go on a little bit of a roll here, a little bit of a roll to end the season with the Giants twice and the Cardinals. And instead, after the first drive of the game where it looked awesome, they looked better on that one drive than they had the previous 2 weeks all together. They go down the field, long scoring drive, almost used up more than half the quarter on that drive. It looked like vintage Eagles. This is what we were waiting for. Okay, let's go. Ended in a touchdown. They didn't settle with a field goal. I'm like, okay, this is great. Yeah, let's go. And the defense was looking good. They were, flying around, making some plays here and there. They didn't get any turnovers, but they were stopping Seattle. And then as the game continued on, and you see this offense just start to get just in quicksand. And Joey Shake said this last night he does the lives every week during the games. He does a great job. And he said they just look slow. Like, you look at them compared to other teams, and the passes look slow, the plays look slow. I mean, they have the brotherly shove. That's just an unstoppable play. But you take that away, they're just very mediocre. And they have a lot of talent on the offensive side of the ball. But they just look, they're hard to watch. And then you got to go with the hero pass. It's like, listen, I understand you have to keep a defense honest. I'm not saying you never throw a deep pass, but who are you throwing the deep pass to? Why does it have to be Quez? Why? You have Devontae Smith. You have A.J. Brown. I'll even go Dallas Goedert. Julio doesn't move very well, but I'd almost... It's like, damn, man, someone else. You got to throw that ball to someone else, not Quez. You throw to Quez in that situation, something bad's going to happen. And you might as well just change the name. You might as well take the Watkins nameplate off of his jersey and put interception on the back of him, because that's what it is. You throw a ball deep to him, he's either going to drop it or it's going to be intercepted. And I don't know what it is about the Eagles. I thought we got past this when they drafted Devontae Smith and traded for A.J. Brown. I thought we got past this terrible receiver drafting and whatever, receivers that can't catch a ball, and you throw deep to them and you're just holding your breath. Well, now we still got one in Watkins. And the Eagles just have a way of collecting these guys. I don't know what it is. I really don't. It's like, or think a Whiteside. And I know Rager balled out in the Super Bowl. I always give him credit for that. He had a good year that year, but other years he was terrible. Rager was terrible. And you see the other guys in the league, Justin Jefferson and Metcalf, both could have been Eagles. And yeah, and they draft Smitty, and they make the move for Brown. And it's like, okay, we finally got over that problem. No, we still got Quez. And that's like a vintage 2019's, 2020's Eagles receiver right there. That's exactly what it is. You throw a deep ball, they're either going to drop it or it's going to get intercepted. That's the type of receivers that this team seems to know how to find. They find them better than anyone else. I don't understand it. I just don't. And I'm not trying to take the blame off of Jalen. His deep balls have not been good. I thought last year he kind of turned a corner with his deep passes. He's just very inaccurate. A lot of balls are underthrown. Even that one was an underthrown pass, and he wasn't under duress. He's not a good deep ball thrower. And again, I understand it's part of the offense. You have to. You can't just, dink and dunk the whole game. You have to keep a defense honest. But we have a quarterback that's not an accurate, deep ball passer. But if you're going to throw one, don't throw it to Quez. Throw it to AJ, throw it to Devontae. Those are the only two I would throw deep to. Now Quez, the heck with him. Here comes another interception. Here comes a drop in a big part of the game. Now, and again, it's first down. You just got a first down. You're moving the ball, and now we got to throw a deep pass. It's like, what are we doing? Sirianni and Johnson, creating this offense throughout the week. And I know Seattle's defense isn't very good. But, they're not very good, and we got held to 17 points. And Seattle came off of playing the Niners, and there's that whole thing that once you play the Niners, and the next week you're not as good or whatever, right? That's the other thing about Desai. And I didn't think of this at the time, but this came to light, recently. They said Desai's defenses against the 49ers, remember, he was with Seattle, stunk against San Francisco. They were terrible. The Niners just blew them out every time they played them. And again, if you're thinking, listen, I'm not saying that you have to develop your whole offseason just based off one team and even, you even beat that team in the NFC title game last year to get to the Super Bowl. But if you know that the 49ers are going to be one of your chief competition in the NFC, why would you bring in a defensive coordinator who stinks against them? It makes no sense. Why would you bring in any coach that can't do anything against that team? That's one of the teams you're going to have to beat. It's like, what was the thought process here? And they go with Patricia. Listen, Patricia, he's okay. I don't think he's going to be a big difference maker. First of all, he doesn't have Belichick here. He was good with Belichick. When he didn't have Belichick, he wasn't very good. Belichick was the one really calling all those defensive plays, or at least helping him calling those defensive plays when he was with New England, those years ago. Now, is he a step up from Desai? Time will tell. We'll see the next 3 weeks. I like some of the things I saw with the defense yesterday, but again, they weren't getting enough pressure. You have a backup. I know this is the year of the backup quarterback. You have a backup quarterback out there. Get in his face, particularly on that last drive. I don't know what the hell they were doing. Get in his face. You have about a minute left, one timeout. Get in the guy's grill. Instead, they're just playing coverage. Makes no sense. And again, man, what did I say last week? See, and again, and rightfully so, you give Howie his flowers when he makes good moves. But Howie has an oversight of certain things. And instead of going and bringing back Bradbury this offseason, they should have gone after Jalen Ramsey. That was the move to make. Because you needed an impactful, playmaking cornerback. Particularly if you were going to lose, CJ, Gardner Johnson. If you were going to lose him, who was a playmaking safety, you needed to replace that with another playmaker. Instead of bringing old man Bradbury back, Mr. Fourth Down holding call, fourth quarter holding call, right? Instead of bringing him back, why don't you go after and just hit a home run with Ramsey? Bring him in. I'll tell you what, if you had Ramsey on the field last night, they win the game. He probably gets a pick on that last possession. I know it's like it's all hindsight right now. It's easy to say that. I get that. But, and again, the problem is that when you look at this defense, and again, that's why I don't think it matters as much who the defensive coordinator is right now, because they don't have great safety play, linebacker play, or cornerback play. Those are three aspects of a defense that they don't have. All you have is a defensive line. Even they aren't getting to the quarterback. They're making plays here and there, but they're not nearly what they were a year ago. You can mask that type of stuff a year ago because you were getting a lot of pressure on the quarterback by bringing your front four. You had some guys on that defense last year having career years. You're not seeing that this year. Sweat's been the invisible man for half the season. Reddick hasn't had the season he did a year ago. And then your veterans are looking like veterans. And then your young players are looking like players who are not used to playing this long into a season. So you're not getting that pressure up front the way they were a year ago, and now everything else, you just see the warts just come out that much more. And even last night, and listen, Seattle wasn't doing anything great on offense until the last possession, but they were still converting on 3rd and 10. How many times did they have like a 3rd and 10 situation, and yet again, here comes a conversion, here comes a conversion. And again, they were able to run the ball on the defense. That was, again, a calling card of this defense last year. No one ran on them until the Super Bowl. They were able to stop the run. They're not doing that this year. It's just altogether bad. Special teams are looking good. It's like funny. It's like the Bizarro year, right? Last year the special teams were terrible. It's one of the things that kind of held them back, particularly in that Super Bowl, in that situation with the punt and everything, the return, Tony's return. Like this year, their special teams are awesome. Everything else stinks. At this point, at least the last 3 weeks. Do they have time to turn around? I don't know. I honestly don't know. We already kissed away the first seed. All right, San Francisco, you got it. Congratulations. Throw some confetti at them for that, right? But you can still get the 2 seed. And honestly, that's not the most terrible thing if you really think about it, because you might be able to avoid playing a Dallas, or maybe if there's an upset at San Francisco, I don't know, and you still get 2 home playoff games. Now, is that going to matter? I don't know. Right now, I'd say no. Right now, I'm not looking forward to this game on Christmas of all days against the Giants, even though we've owned them. The Giants are going to come in this game feeling like they have a good shot. They've been playing better the second half of the season. They're not going to be a playoff team, all that pixie dust that they had the last few weeks. They got taken down in New Orleans. They're not a great team. But the Eagles aren't a great team right now either. I can absolutely see the Giants come in this and win this game. Coming in, we've lost to this team how many times in a row right now? They're weak. It's you smell it's like sharks. You smell the blood in the water, and right now the Eagles are bleeding. So I can absolutely see the Giants coming here with Barkley running all over them, and Danny DeVito making just enough plays throwing the ball. Giants defense making plays. Jalen again turning the ball over, even though it's at home. I can absolutely see them lose this game. I can see them losing. I can't think of a team that I'd feel comfortable them playing right now. The Giants, Arizona, not after these 3 weeks. You let Seattle go 92 yards with a backup quarterback to win a game. You let Locke do that. Am I going to sit here and say, oh, yeah, they'll just take care of the Giants as they have the last how many years? No. Like I said, man, it's unwatchable at this point. I'll watch because I'm a sucker. I mean, I watch every week. I mean, this is what it is. I had thoughts of not watching. I'm like, is there anything else on at that point? Is there like some Christmas movie or something? Maybe I'll just watch the highlights later and hope for the best. I don't know, man. It's going to be a tough watch. They're going to be wearing the Kelly Greens again, but it's going to be a tough watch. But they better find a way. I mean, enough's enough. I just want to win at this point. I don't care how they get it. If it's a dominant performance, if it's an ugly game, it's probably going to be an ugly game. Let's be honest here. There's no dominant performance in this team right now. It's going to be an ugly game. It's an NFC East game. It's going to be a slop fest, probably. I just want to get a win, to be honest. And as I was sitting there before Jalen decided to throw that deep ball to Quez Watkins, Quez interception, at that point in the game, I'm like, you know what? It might be an ugly win. I know there's still going to be a lot to discuss, a lot to kind of, to bask in this game, and a lot of things, the question marks and all this and that. But at this point, I just want to see a win, particularly after the last 2 weeks of ugliness. I just want to see a win. And instead, I'm sitting there in the recliner, and I'm watching, I'm watching Seattle go 92 yards. At the end of the game. Just not good enough, man. It's not good enough. And there's enough blame to go around. And we start with the quarterback because that's, it's quarterback. The quarterback always gets the most blame, and rightfully so. He played terrible last night. And Reuben Frank after the game on Post-Game Live made the comment, well, I mean, look, and I'm not using the illness as an excuse. If he was that sick and whatever, why not just start Mariota in that game? Now, I don't know. I mean, Mariota, you're not really going to great shakes with him, but maybe some of those plays are made. Maybe they win the game. And I'm not saying go with Mariota the rest of the season, but at least for that one game. I mean, he has ties in that area, those years in Oregon and everything. Why not put him out there for one game? It's not like you were playing a world beater team. You weren't playing San Francisco last night or Dallas and Dallas. It was a winnable game. Maybe there was something to that. I don't know. And now you got 3 straight losses. You got the finger pointing going in the locker rooms. You got, this thing is falling apart at the seams. I mean, it could get real ugly. It's ugly now. Oh, it's ugly now. It could get even more ugly. The more this goes, if they lose on Christmas at home to the Giants, oh my goodness. You talk about, because now you're looking at, okay, more than likely, you've lost your chance at even a 2 seed. Now you're looking at possible 5 seed. Forget it. I don't even care, man. If they go to Tampa Bay in the playoffs, they'll lose that game. At that point, it's like they clinched a playoff spot. What's it matter at that point? If they can't beat the Giants on Christmas at home, or the Cardinals, and I said this weeks ago. I said this. After the Niner game, I said, if you can't beat the Giants and Cardinals and Giants again, you don't deserve to have whatever seed it is. Those are the teams. You have to win those games at the end if you're in a real battle. Now, at that time, I still thought they would be in a battle with the 49ers for the 1 seed, even after that loss. But now, okay, we conceded the 1 seed to San Fran. So now it's about trying to get that 2 seed. And I can't sit here with a straight face right now after these past 3 weeks and say, they'll get the 2 seed, no problem. Because every game, every game's going to be close. Every game's going to be nail biters. This team does not play a game where they blow out an opponent all year. They've been blown out a couple times in recent weeks. They don't blow anyone out. Because they play a foolish brand of football. You just see it every week. You see the lackluster offense, the play calling, the execution or non-execution on the field, the defense, getting run on, getting passed on, 3rd and longs, the other team's converting like it's easy, like it's nothing, 3rd and 12, 3rd and 13. Oh, we're just going to throw it out right down the middle. Here's a wide open receiver, tight end. Oh, shocker. And again, man, I know, we were winning, so, it is what it is. They had some real good wins this season. At Kansas City, the Buffalo game, the Miami game, Dallas at home, they had some good wins, and they had this gauntlet that the league liked to throw at them this season. Again, it's not the league's fault. The Eagles were a defending NFC champion. You're going to have a tough schedule. That's just what it is. But they had to overcome it, and they went 3-3. They went 500 in this gauntlet that they just finished last night. And I don't think it's finished, to be honest. Every game's a gauntlet game now. They could play the Panthers right now. That would be a gauntlet game. The Panthers will get right against the Eagles at this point. And there's no magic pill. It's not like people are saying, "Oh, get rid of Johnson, get rid of Johnson." Sirianni is still calling. He is the main culprit on this offense. And again, you give him credit when they're winning. They won a lot of games with him as a head coach. But as an offensive-minded, and that's what he's supposed to be, he's terrible. To the point his first year here as a head coach, he gave up the play calling duties to Steichen, and rightfully so. I have no faith. Even if they bring, like, if they somehow tomorrow fire Johnson and bring in Frank Reich, I still don't think it's going to make a big difference. Maybe in some regards, maybe Frank would get rid of that stupid bubble screen that goes for 3 and 5 yard losses every time they run. I hate that play. I can't stand that play. And the thing about it is you see other teams use it with success all the time. The Eagles run it, and it's going the other way. It's a loss every time. And a lot of times it looks like it's going to get intercepted, and I'm just holding my breath going, oh, God. And instead the receiver catches the ball, and he's going 5 yards back. Every time. And they love to run that stupid play. They're not good at it. It's not like the brotherly shove or some other plays that they do okay with. That bubble screen is terrible. When they try to run it, it's the worst looking bubble screen in the history of the bubble screen. It's terrible. That and the deep pass and trying to force feed A.J. Brown the whole game. It's just, come on, man. And other teams said it. Even the cornerback Love said after the game on the second pick, he said, well, he got there because he knew that they were going to try to force the ball at that point. Just how that play was looking like he was going to try to throw it to AJ. And you didn't need to at that point. You just needed to get in field goal range. We have a damn good field goal kicker. You kick a field goal, you send the game to overtime, you take your chances. Instead, now we got to go again with the hero ball. We're going to throw it deep to AJ instead of looking the other way and seeing a wide open Gainwell, who if you throw to him, he's going to get in the field goal range. And you still had timeouts. Set up a field goal. Set up the game-tying field goal. And, okay, we go to overtime. Instead, we got to throw one deep to A.J. Brown, who's in double and at that point triple coverage. Made no sense. It was a great interception by Love. Great interception. Maybe one of the best all year. The way he toe-tapped it at the end there. Great play by him. Stupid throw by Jalen. And he's not a rookie. You can't make these plays. You can't play the role of superhero every throw. There are other plays to be made. There's other open receivers, and it's not even like he's under duress all the time because the offensive line is doing what they're doing. You got to survey the field. You got to look around. You can't just go to AJ. You got other guys. Devontae Smith was open for at least 6 other passes last night. Goddard's been open. Gainwell on that play was open. Other guys are open. You got to see them. You're an NFL quarterback. And I hate to hate on the guy, man, but it's like, come on, man. This is why are we going backwards? And people complain or comparing this to the Carson Wentz and the last few years with Doug. And I really don't want to go back to that. I really don't want to go back to that. I'll tell you that right now. That was as ugly as it got. Being an Eagles fan, watching that team that year. That was horrendous. And this team isn't that team. They're good. They're better. But they got to find a way, man. And you know what? Sometimes maybe all it takes is a win. I don't know. I don't think it's going to be a cure-all, but I will absolutely take a win on Christmas over another loss. And if we're destined to be a 2 seed, okay, I'll take it. 3 seed, all right, whatever. I don't want the 5. It's like, why are we even trying at this? It's like, do I even watch the game that day? I mean, ugly, man. Ugly, ugly, ugly. So, they're, 10-4 now. God, we have to play on Christmas. Why in the world? And I honestly don't want my Christmas ruined, to be honest. I don't want to be watching this and them losing. Because, you get in the mood. As a fan, you get in the mood. It doesn't go away until how many days? And it sucks. It's been 3 straight weeks of suck. And last night, it's not like they got blown out. The end was disappointing. But they made too many mistakes in the course of that game. It didn't have to come down to that last drive by Locke and the Seahawks. It didn't. You could have put that game away a long time before that. It never had to come down to that. You wasted too many opportunities. And that goes to coaching, that goes to players. It's all together. You wasted too many opportunities against a beatable team, even though we never seem to beat Seattle. But it's a beatable team. And you wasted too many opportunities, and that always comes back to bite. Always. Interceptions, drive killers, it always comes back to get you at the end. I don't care who you're playing, where you're playing. That Watkins interception, you can't have that there. And you didn't. And the worst part about that is you didn't need it. You didn't need to throw a deep ball there on first down. You could have handed off the ball to Swift. You could have ran I know this team doesn't like, for whatever reason, throwing slant plays, but you could have done some other intermediate passing play. You could have even had Jalen run again. But don't throw a deep pass to frickin' interception waiting to happen, Watkins. It's always him. That's the old saying. It's always him. It's always him. Could they just, not dress him? Just say he's hurt or something and not put him in games? It's just bad. When you see 16 out there, you're like, oh, no. Oh, no. It's either some dumb bubble screen or a deep ball that he lets the defender get or he drops. It's usually what happens. Disappointing. Listen, this season was looking like, and I know it wasn't pretty at times, but we were surviving. Oh, they're resilient. That was the big word, right? Resilient. Look at how resilient this team is. Look at, they have leaders on this team, and they're not going to go through big slides. And yeah. Well, here comes the big slide. There goes all the resilience. The other team looks resilient now. Oh, that Locke was resilient last night. They won a game they had to have to get blown out in the wild card game in the playoffs if they make it in there. Like I said, man, we're gonna find out. We're gonna find out these next 3 weeks. We're gonna find out. And I hate that I hate to say it, but I almost kind of know how it's gonna go to end the season. Because it's hard, man. When things start snowballing, it's hard to turn it around. Is it impossible? No. Stranger things have happened, right? But it's hard to turn that around. When you got momentum going the other direction, it's like when everything's going great and you're winning games, it's hard to start going on losing skids, right? Because you're just the momentum is just too much in your favor. When it's the other way, it's hard to turn it back. It's not a switch that can be turned. Now look, they can win on Christmas. Maybe that win energizes and rejuvenates. I don't know what it is. They need a win. I'll tell you that. They need a win. This is a desperate game against Danny DeVito and the Giants. This is a desperate game against a team that we usually beat in the past how many years. But that worries me. It worries me. They lost to the Jets. They never lost to the Jets. And that was the big thing for the Jets, right? They were all hepped up after the game. Oh, not undefeated, not defeated against you guys anymore, huh? That was I think that was their last decent game. Oh, no, they won 30-3 the other week. But, the Giants, look, hey, they're just playing out the string right now. They're loose. The Eagles are the one that are going to be tight. And you know the fans. Oh, we know what's going to happen. If they get off to a slow start, here come the boos, and that's just going to make things worse. I don't blame the fans. If the fans that pay their money go to that game and the Eagles are coming out sloppy, 3 and out, or get a first down, and then here comes a punt, Jalen throws an early if he throws an early interception, or a fumble, oh, no. And then it goes the other way. And that's momentum for the Giants, and the Giants start doing some stuff, right? And now the Eagle fans start booing, and it just turns around. It can get ugly. It could get real ugly in that stadium, like real ugly. It's a rivalry game. The fans are already in a mood. The Eagles come out slow and sluggish, turning the ball over, giving up long third downs to the Giants. Oh, it's not going to be good in that stadium. It's not going to be good. I'm glad there's no snow in the forecast. I'm glad there's no chance of snowballs being thrown on the field or some dumb stuff like that. Oh boy. Oh my. It's not going to be good. It's definitely not going to be good. But now, what's the over/under on how many times they're going to bring up the booing of Santa Claus? Even though that was way back in the 60s when a lot of us weren't even alive, like me. But somehow I get lumped in. Oh, you Eagle fans, so you booed Santa Claus, huh? Like, I wasn't born yet, dimwit. Don't let the grays fool you. Man, you gotta find a way to laugh, right? It's like the Joker said, right? If you're gonna go with a smile. Oh God, this game, man. I tell you though, I need to see a win. I need to see a win this Christmas. Enough. Enough's enough. And now, do I feel confident? Do I feel like they're going to do it? I can't say I do. I can't say that I do, even though it's a team they've had a lot of success versus, well, we know Boston Scott will get a touchdown. We know that. That's like a guarantee. Boston's going to get in the end zone against the Giants. He always does. Giant fans know. Cal Pizzle, no bones. They know. You're going to see 35 in the end zone, but will it matter? That's the question. That's the question of the day. Listen, this has been it's been a crap show the last 3 weeks. It's been a crap show. They need to find a way to turn this thing around, and quick. Again, the 1 seed is over with. San Francisco got it. Oh well. They'll have the home field throughout the playoffs, and it is what it is. Rightfully so. They've earned it. That team is playing as good a football as you've seen in how many years. They've earned it. They definitely have. So you give them credit, and it's going to be tough. Listen, if the Eagles have to go there, if they somehow go there for like the NFC title game, it is going to be very difficult to beat that team. But we'll see. We cross that bridge when we get there. Right now, I just want to beat the Giants. That's all I want. I want to beat the Giants. If I have a Christmas present lit, that's all I want to see is a win. These losses have been tough. They've been ugly. We've been kicked in the gut numerous times. It's like I'm looking forward to Flyers games more than the Eagles right now. And that's true. I look forward to seeing the Flyers tonight against New Jersey. I'm not really looking forward to the Christmas game. I wish it wasn't on Christmas. I really do. But gotta find a way. Jalen's got to be better. The coaching's got to be better. The other players, it's all got to be better. And I can't sit here with a straight face and tell you for sure it will. But they have to find a way. The veteran leaders on this team have to be veteran leaders. They have to rally the troops and get this thing turned around in the right way, as hard as it's going to be to do. That's what they have to do. That's the only hope we have. Listen, at the end of the day, that's the only hope we have. Because I can't sit here and say, well, the coaches are going to turn around in a week, or the Jalen's not going to throw interceptions this week, or fumble the ball, or turn the ball over. But it's got to get better, and I think a win will go a long way. To be honest, I think if they win on Christmas, I think a win will go a long way. Even if it's an ugly game, if it comes down to like a Jake Elliott field goal or something like that, just get another win in that column, and maybe that turns things around. Maybe that's what they want. Maybe that's the Christmas miracle that we need. Is for them to... I never thought I would say a Christmas miracle to beat the Giants at this point in the season. A month ago, if you were to tell me I had to say that, there's no way. But that's what we're going to have to hope for. It's ugly. It's not good football. It's very disappointing. And all I can do as a fan is watch and hope. And that's it. Keep every finger crossed, every toe crossed, that we can come away with a win on Sunday. Or rather, Monday. Monday. Christmas. Come on, guys. Find a way. Just find a way to win. So, as always, I thank you all for watching. Try to break it down here as best I can. What do you always got to do, right? Leave many likes. You know, I really need those likes after I need a stiff drink. I'm not a big drinker, but boy, this team will drive you to mixing some stiff drinks. I'll tell you that. But also make sure that you subscribe. If you haven't already done so, hit the bell icon so you're notified of all future content from yours truly. And we're gonna see. We're gonna see on Christmas what this team is really made of, if they're made of anything left. We'll see. So go Birds as always. Oh, please God. Please just let us get a win. And I will see you all after the game. Merry Christmas to those, of course, who celebrate Christmas. Happy Kwanzaa. Happy Festivus. Of course, Hanukkah. I believe ended, if I'm not mistaken, last Thursday or Friday? But happy Hanukkah, belated happy Hanukkah. And that's about it. This is the season of the holidays. It should be a joyous time, but we haven't had a lot of joy with the Eagles here. The last 3 weeks, it's just been a lot of banging our heads against the wall. It really, really has. But we'll hope for the best. We'll see. They got work to do. And they got to find a way to beat the Giants on Christmas. And hopefully maybe that sets the season back in the right way. But we'll see. Only time will tell. That's all we can do, right? But thank you all, as always, for all the support to the channel. Thanks for watching. It's been tough, Eagle fans. I know. Believe me, this has been... This is where fandoms get tested in these type of moments. But the one thing I will say is these fans don't go away. We're more vocal after losses. See, this is what separates us from those local bandwagon Dallas fans. They haven't been talking this week after losing to Buffalo, but you hear from Eagle fans more after losses, complain about all sorts of stuff. Right? We're still out there. I'm camming up here on YouTube. Right? I've seen this. I've seen so much of this that it's all, I don't want to say you get numb to it, but it's, being a Philly fan, it does. You have to go through a lot of crap. You really do. But I'd still, even with all of this, I'd rather not be anything else. This is what's in my heart. But again, thank you all so much. Happy holidays, everyone, and I will see you again soon. Hopefully, we're talking about a win in the next video. That would be nice. But time will tell. We shall see. Y'all take care and have a good one. I'll see you in the next one.